Today, we're jumping right into an explainer that explores a deeply personal, frankly, profound transformation. We're looking at exactly what it takes to go from feeling financially limited, like you're stuck on the outside looking in, to claiming a powerful, truly sovereign identity. This whole journey is based on a fantastic, in-depth review by a writer named Salima. She dug into Denise Duffield-Thomas's totally eye-opening book, Get Rich, Lucky Bitch, and she didn't just casually skim it, she did the heavy lifting, executing every single exercise, and the results she experienced were absolutely life-changing.
We're starting right at the emotional core today with this profound realization straight from the source material. Salima realized she was holding on to this deep-seated, really painful feeling that abundance was essentially this exclusive velvet rope private club. And worse, it was a club she simply wasn't invited to. She felt like wealth was reserved for people who looked a certain way or married into the right family or just had some sort of divine favor, like it only belonged to people who were inherently lucky.
I want you to ask yourself, honestly, right now as we kick things off, have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like you're just watching other people effortlessly thrive, building wealth, living their dreams, while you're just sitting in the bleachers waiting for a lucky break that never seems to show up? It's an incredibly heavy, isolating feeling. But as you're about to see, it is definitely not permanent. All right, so to understand why so many of us feel this exact way, we first have to shine a light on the invisible barriers silently holding us back. That brings us to part one. The invisible money blocks, where we uncover our subconscious beliefs. The wild thing about these money blocks is that they're almost entirely unconscious. You didn't make a conscious choice one day over breakfast to arbitrarily limit your financial potential, right? Instead, they're absorbed programming. We pick them up from society, from the media, from the people around us who quietly decide in our minds who gets to be wealthy and who doesn't. They're literally running the show from behind the scenes, completely without your permission. To actually find these deeply rooted blocks, you have to dig for your financial origin wound. In the review, Salima discovered hers happened when she was just 16. Her father suddenly fell ill, and in a single instant, family dreams just crumbled. Money wasn't an aspiration anymore. It was an absolute emergency. It was daily, grinding stress. Just imagine being that young, watching the adults around you panic. Your teenage brain absorbs that panic as absolute truth. Her nervous system learned this agonizing lesson that money purely meant lack and pain. It became a body memory. So think about your own past for a second. What early experience trained your nervous system to fear money? Finding that origin wound leads us right into our next crucial step. Part 2, excavating your financial past, which is really all about the art of emotional decluttering. Denise Duffield-Thomas has this money manifesting formula, and it requires a very specific, intense sequence of actions. Let me be super clear. This is not just casual journaling while you sip your morning latte. No, this is a heavy, completely necessary excavation of your entire financial history. You have to write down every sting, every shame, every single moment of fear you've ever had with money, every bounced check, every awkward conversation, and then comes the part that really costs something emotionally. You actually have to forgive every single one of those memories to clear the space. But here's the payoff. By unearthing and actively forgiving these deeply buried memories, you experience this immense sense of relief. Salima noted there were things she fully thought she had processed years ago, but getting them on paper showed they were still quietly dictating her daily decisions. Forgiving them, it felt like finally putting down a massive, heavy piece of baggage you forgot you were even carrying. You physically feel lighter. Because, you simply cannot fill a space with wealth if it's already cluttered to the ceiling with your old financial trauma. With all that emotional clutter swept out, we can start reshaping our mindset. Welcome to step 3, clarity and receiving abundance. We're getting specific, and we're embracing the shockingly uncomfortable skill of actually receiving. Okay, if I asked you to write down a specific massive money goal right this second, what's your reaction? Your mind might completely freeze up in terror, just like Salima's did. Before she did this work, her money goal was essentially 0. She was so locked inside the reality of her current salary that she never allowed her imagination to reach even a single dollar beyond it. It really highlights this wild absurdity. We are so conditioned to police our own financial desires before anyone else even gets the chance to tell us no. And this perfectly illustrates why specificity is basically magic. Vague desires get vague results. Look, your brain is bombarded with millions of bits of data all day long, so it filters most of it out just to keep you functioning. But when you name an exact, specific number, Your reticular activating system, your RAS, wakes up. Suddenly, your brain stops filtering out opportunities and starts revealing the paths to wealth that were literally hiding in plain sight the whole time. Clarity isn't arrogance. It's a direct signal to your brain that you're finally serious. But to support this newly awakened vision, you have to do a brutal audit of your environment. You absolutely must stop flooding your nervous system with the scarcity and helplessness of constant breaking news. Stop doom scrolling. You have to physically walk away when colleagues start their annual ritual of complaining about taxes and the economy. You have to deliberately curate your space with positivity and quality. Buying fewer but significantly better things becomes an act of self-respect. It trains your brain every single day to expect abundance instead of lack. Now, here is a truly fascinating realization from the source text. Receiving is a skill, and honestly, a lot of us are completely terrible at it. Salima noticed this while she was staying at a gorgeous hotel in Cambodia. She kept rushing to open doors for herself because letting the hotel staff do it made her squirm with discomfort. She did the exact same thing at work. She'd instantly deflect credit for her successful projects to her team, just to avoid standing in the warmth of the acknowledgement. You have to practice receiving, even the tiny things. You have to practice it to show the universe you are actually ready for the big abundance. Of course, every hero's journey has a monster to fight, right? Welcome to Part 4, Breaking Patterns of Sabotage. Here we confront our financial RSI, because those deeply ingrained habits are always lurking, trying to drag us back into the familiar, safe comfort of being broke. The author brilliantly calls this RSI, repetitive sabotage injury. It means you keep repeating the exact same harmful financial behaviors until you forcefully identify them, name them, and stop funding them. They are completely relentless. They'll just keep showing up, wearing different masks in different relationships and different career choices until you finally learn the lesson. This contrast perfectly highlights Salima's major turning point. Her RSI? It was people-pleasing by lending out money. Whenever someone had a sob story, she would log into her bank and transfer funds, driven entirely by the intense anxiety of being seen as selfish. The breaking point came when a friend just assumed Salima would fund her holiday because of past support. That's when Salima had to draw a firm new boundary. She realized that past help was a completed transaction, not a lifelong debt. She had to say no, realizing once and for all that other people cannot build their financial plans around her bank account. Overcoming those insidious self-sabotages allows us to step right into the final and most powerful phase of our journey today. Step 5, rehearsing for financial success. This is the ultimate identity shift. Listen to me on this one. Manifestation is never passive. You can't just sit in a room, light a candle, and wait for money to fall from the ceiling. Pretending is rehearsing for success. Actually, scratch that. It's more like actively embodying the future. It might feel incredibly forced at first, but acting like the wealthy person you are becoming is how you forcefully pull that future reality into your present. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between vivid rehearsal and current reality. For Salima, this entire massive transformation culminated in adopting one incredibly powerful word as her new identity: sovereign. A sovereign woman is someone who absolutely owns her castle. She intimately understands her resources, she multiplies them strategically, and she moves through her financial life with total intention and absolute authority. She didn't wait until she felt perfectly ready or had $1 million in the bank. She claimed the title first. Embodying this sovereign identity means doing the daily reps, executing these powerful daily habits, not from a place of anxiety or fear of an overdraft, but from the powerful, calm energy of someone who manages wealth simply because she is already wealthy. By logging in daily, checking investments proactively, tracking expenses, and setting bold goals, like adding another property to her portfolio, she acted like the woman she was becoming way before she fully arrived. That is the secret. That's how the entire shift happens. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to carry with you today. Take a really close look at the financial decisions you're making right now. Are you managing your money based on your own powerful, sovereign vision for the future? Or are you still unconsciously playing out the script of an old origin wound that was never really yours to begin with? It is time to clear the clutter, name your goals, and step into the wealth that is waiting for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep practicing, keep rehearsing, and I will see you next time.